It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we have now deemed the COVID Chronicles, as we go through a little love from Phil on that one, on the idea. I just kind of ran with it, but appreciate that, sir. Welcome to the show tonight. Phil, how you doing, sir?
Welcome, one and all, to the Dog and Chicken Show, Extreme Edition, as if I need any introduction. Chicken, great to be here, as yes, we chronicle these times that we have, and these would be very appropriately called the COVID Chronicles that we are doing here this evening and throughout this interesting time of our lives, I suppose. It's interesting time where we're all, like I heard David Brooks say, we're all separate, but we're in this together. We're all experiencing it together. So interesting times, and we are here to cover it with you, folks.
Yeah. So this should be a good show. But I do think you mentioned I already made my drink. I was selfish and just made a drink ahead of time. But you were gonna do a special drink to kick off the show tonight.
A special drink for all you at the KOE Nation and everybody out there tonight. This drink is, if you got the ingredients, feel free to join me. But improvise where you can. I understand. Took a mandarin orange. I peeled off as much as I could. You want to break just a few so that it'll infuse a little better.
That's a whole mandarin orange?
Whole mandarin. Take some ice. Pop that off.
Those are some big cubes there, dog.
What's that?
Those are some big cubes you got there.
I tried. Take some overproof rum if you got it. Really, any high proof alcohol will do, even bourbon in a pinch. You want 1 proof of overproof rum, or 1 ounce of overproof rum. Let that sit and marinate for a moment. Get 1 ounce of tequila.
Oh, got a little Jose going in there. Nice.
Yep. And that's going to polish off that 100 milliliter bottle. So, all right, got another bottle that I can add to the recycle pile. All right.
So far we got overproof rum, tequila, mandarin orange, and
Top
now
off with peach juice. Orange juice can work in a pinch, but I prefer peach juice for this particular one.
And what's this drink called?
Oh, I'm calling it the Caribbean Tour.
Caribbean Tour.
You got to stop at Georgia for the peaches, Mexico for the tequila, the Caribbean for the rum. Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place. And then, just to top it off a bit, for my bitters set here, just 2 drops of Creole bitters.
Nice. So while Phil's finishing up that drink there, I got to do in the shameless plugs real quick. So make sure, make sure get that stir going on. But like, share, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube. We got the Big Buck and Entertainment page over on the Facebook, and then Dog and Chicken Show at the YouTube. We're doing the Bernie Sanders talk, but don't forget we do have a Patreon page as well. Feel free to jump over and support us any way you can on any of these. But the big thing is just tune in, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. So looks like Phil's done mixing his drink there. The Caribbean Cruise is what you're calling this?
Caribbean Tour.
Oh, Caribbean Tour. Cheers,
smells
sir.
Marvelous. Cheers to everybody, and we're all in this together, folks.
Absolutely. All right.
Oh, that is lovely.
So.
It's lovely.
I haven't looked in a few hours. I think the case count is what it is. We know it's going to continue to rise steadily. I looked earlier today. We were well over 30,000, probably going to get close to 40,000 by the end of the night. So we're right on track with kind of what we were predicting. But the death rate, I think, is still between 400 and 500. So Doing pretty good on that end. I know, 400 or 500 people dying is not a good thing, but when you consider how Italy's doing,
Yeah.
we're winning on that front.
Italy had over 680 people die today.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. It's a real
Yeah,
bad deal.
it's real bad over there. So I'm praying for them. I'm praying it don't come over here to that level. And let's just hope for the best on this, folks. So do what you can to help at this point. My God. And so, yeah. I kept even my one social gathering this week down to 5 people. I'm trying to usually keep about 5 to 6 feet away from folks, especially my older relatives. And yeah, that's what's really going to affect. So
I guess that's where we can start it.
Your vitamin C.
Yeah, get your vitamin C. We can start with the chat around how well are people doing with this social. I don't like talking about it, but it's weird. But keeping that 6 feet distance. What are you guys seeing? Tell us in the comments, of course. But I've seen it going into stores. I was in a Walmart the other day, and I see the line at the service desk look really, really long, but it was only 5 people because everybody was 6 feet apart. I was like, wow, look at society following the arbitrary rules that the government just talked about on TV. Way to go, team. But then, I go down the toilet paper aisle, and they pull a pallet out, and 70 people tackle each other to get a roll of toilet paper. So it's there, but it's not there. And then you see the parties on TV, right? Everybody's, spring breaking it up at the beach. And it kind of, it takes me back to one of our listeners. I popped in and checked out his channel. So shameless. I don't know if he wants a plug or not. So I'll just say the Ides of March, right? Was an episode I watched, which rang true not only for his video, but what we're seeing today. So Phil, what are your thoughts? The social distancing, and is it working? Is it not working? Ides of March are upon us. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'll straight up plug him. It's Grow the Farm Up. Check him out and like, share, subscribe. He raises an excellent point on his channel that we are now in a point in history that's referred to as the Ides of March. And if you go back through time, this is a point where there's so much tumult, so much it's when so many things change. It happens in the middle of March. And here we are. It was almost prophetic on his part where he said, watch out for the Ides of March. And then this shit all drops. So yes, it's yes, I will give Grow the Farm Up a bit of a
tip of the hat. A little tip of the hat. Yes, sir. So the social distancing though, are you seeing it? Are people actually doing it? And following the guides and regulations, this 15 days to stop the spread and flatten the curve. Do you see people actually adhering to it?
Some yes, some no. It just kind of depends. I mean, I do know a lot of people are staying home now and they're not going out, and they're not the restaurants are closed. There's a Chinese buffet that's in the area that's well known, closed down, just nothing there. There's a van parked in front of the front door. They're not taking any business. So yes, there is some of that going on.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the human behavior. This is a nice little experiment we're going through with some dire consequences, unfortunately. But it's interesting to see those that are taking heed of what's being said and the dangers that come with the beer flu. I will not say the C word still, even if we're not having a drinking game with it. I'm not going to say it. But
Carino virus?
Yes, the Steve Carino virus, or as welcome to the COVID Chronicles. We will continue with that. I do like that. We're just gonna have to title all these COVID Chronicles Part 1, 2, 3, whatever. Anyway, so I read an article. Let's take it a little deeper. Read an article where a biologist and now some scientist dude, but he was like, "Hey, what we're doing is not enough. It's not going to stop. Even if we do social distancing the correct way, it's going to take forever for us to get a handle on this. We can get all the testing we want. It's still going to be around. the only way to lock this down is do similar to what China did, and you have to do an authoritarian shutdown of everybody for 3 to 5 weeks, and that will get rid of it, and we'll be able to monitor and handle everything from then on. That's a scary proposition. So, Phil, I don't know how privy you are to any of that. What are your thoughts if we have an authoritarian, just everybody stop what you're doing, stay home, or else?
That's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be a very interesting shift in the American experience if that doesn't get completely. There's going to have to be some sort of quarantining, but if there isn't also some pushback in our courts, that will fundamentally change the American experience forever. We're in interesting times. That's really what I'm more concerned about as a spectator of history in the making, as you could say we are in this, is what is going to result is, are our courts going to give any pushback to any of these quarantine orders, or is it just going to be hands off? I think that's going to be the ultimate proving ground of all this.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, because we're starting to see it. Like, I don't think either of us actually thought people would get arrested or have legal action taken against them for not following the guidelines from the government, but it's happening. There was a wedding in Jersey. It was what do you call? I can't remember the group that it was, but they were having a wedding in their backyard, and over 50 people showed up. They arrested 2 of them. That happened. That's really what's going on in Jersey right now. And the leaders over there are saying, no, like, we're gonna follow these rules, and we're gonna push them, and we're gonna influence them, and we're gonna hold you accountable to them. But it's not a law. There's nothing in place. So we're it feels like they're already under a martial law of sorts. It's just not officially on paper. I don't know. It's really weird.
It is an interesting dichotomy you bring up of the Northeast. People up there will, I don't know how else to put it, like, they will fall in line to an overarching government order. I've noticed. Not every one of them, but I've noticed that it's a more likely to happen up there. If there is a government edict, you're going to notice that there's not going to be as much pushback versus if you're to go to the American South, the Midwest, Rust Belt, some areas of the Northeast or Northwest, that is, they will give a bit more pushback to this. But yes, they're bringing in these rules, and I understand it's not really that great for anybody, but look at the numbers that are coming in from New York and New Jersey, and they don't want to be Italy. So I understand it.
I understand, like, the push for it, but it's a slippery slope. At what point do you just grab the Constitution and just rip it into pieces and throw it in the air? Because civil liberties and oh man, it's just, we could go down that road on the conversation, but like, just those 2 people, whether it was right or wrong, they shouldn't have had a party of 50 people. They shouldn't have had that wedding. They shouldn't have done that. I get it. There needs to be a level of accountability, but I don't know. How do you enact that? How do you roll through with that? That's the weird part.
Could you imagine that bridezilla for that wedding? It's like, baby, the world's ending. I don't give a fuck. We are doing this fucking thing. Like, they should have brought that one. It's like, yeah, wow. Just nope. Don't give a damn if the world's ending. Don't give a damn about anything. We're proceeding. So, man, that was pretty close to that poor defeated man. Oh my God.
Wow. I like where you went with that one.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. No, it's extra lockdowns, Ohio, you got California, New York, throughout Jersey. It's all over the place. How long till it hits everybody else. I read one news article was 147 million Americans are in lockdown right now, because all of our major population centers are all under a lockdown. So, when you break that down, it's just a few areas of the country, but it's almost half of the entire population are under a COVID lockdown or the beer flu lockdown. That's crazy to think that's where we're at already. It's March 22nd and half the country is nearly on lockdown. It's incredible to think.
Yeah, like you and I, we're in a nice little quiet corner of the Midwest and Great Plains. It's still like we're seeing it, but it's not like I can only imagine what it's like for people in New York right now. I can only imagine. It's not going to be like I was just watching a CBS report about a lady that runs a bar, and she had to close up and she had to let 90% of her staff go. And she was in tears over it because those are people that she works with and those are people with lives. But she had to say, we'll try and hire you back when this thing all blows over, but I don't know what to do. And yeah, she was in tears over it. So I can only about imagine how much worse it could potentially get. And yeah, goddamn, I feel like we are right here. We're at what they call in the black hole the event horizon. You ever heard of that? And we're just right there. And we're about to go over. And one of two things is going to happen. Either we're going to go over and this thing might actually blow over. Might actually get better. We all came together and this thing kind of went away. Or the other one. But either way, we're right there.
Yeah, I
think this is a good time to chronicle.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what this seems like it is. It is good because we're getting more time to jump on and podcast and I guess kind of keep people informed. There's still a few people out there living under a rock, I swear. Maybe they're the ones not practicing the social distance stuff, but I don't know. There's people out there that just seem clueless to this, or their imaginations can't fathom what's going on today. Yeah, you know anybody like that, Phil? You got anybody just going, what? Why is everybody staying home? Like, why is everything closed?
I did have a good friend that happened to on Friday, or Thursday or Friday, and it was one of those. You don't pay attention to the news very much, do you? No, I really don't, Phil. Fuck, really? Yeah, you should maybe stock up. Is there any toilet paper? No. You're funny. No. This is the toilet paper apocalypse, apparently. I don't know what to tell you. That's the first thing everybody ran out to buy. Why? Don't ask me. So it was a conversation that went kind of like that.
Yeah. Toilet paper seems to be still the leading conversation or the leading topic among most people. I'm kind of tired of talking about toilet paper and hearing all the crazy thoughts around it. I'm like, we're all just stupid people. We're all dumb, evolved apes and just can't figure out how to just get beyond looking at an empty counter. We just got to panic with the rest of them. But whatever. I'll move on beyond that. What else should people really be panicking about? Like, most people are well stocked up by now. If not, you're probably in line with a whole bunch of morons in front of Sam's or something. But like, there's things I started thinking about today. Like, if it really does hit the fan, what do I need that I don't have? And, I started looking more at medical supplies. What if I get a large laceration on my arm? How am I going to handle that if the hospital is overwhelmed with people? So, I up my supplies on little med kits and stuff like that. There's actually a sutureless thing that you can get that's if you do have a large laceration, instead of having to get stitches, you can like put this like sticker thing on there and you pull the tabs and it seals your wound back up. So yeah, that's what I'm stocking up on now while everybody else is buying toilet paper still, I guess. But anything special you're going after?
You raise an excellent point there. Yes, medical supplies of any kind. Me, I occasionally suffer from migraines. So I went out and I got some extra Advil, and Advil migraine's gone. That's the stuff I swear by. So I just had to get some regular Advil instead. all those kinds of things. And again, no, I know it sounds silly, but like the Everclear that I have, I'm going to use it for like, yes, if I get some laceration, that will be to disinfect it. That's the entire point of it is, wipe down counters, disinfect things. Can't find rubbing alcohol for medical purposes. That's your next best gig. And, hey, you can throw it in a cocktail too on a bad day. But yeah, medical supplies of any kind, you're going to need to stock up on. Hygiene supplies, soap, shampoos, conditioners, all of those things. When Venezuela hit its economic collapse, the toilet paper disappeared, then the soap disappeared, then all the hygiene products disappeared, then the bandages and all of that stuff disappeared, and then basic foodstuffs where you couldn't get them. Like, we can still kind of find milk because we're in America, and we, God bless the dairy farmers. They are doing their job. So they're still pumping that out, and hats off to them. And
we got some good comments coming in. Some other supplies are being posted. Super glue, duct tape, a hot blade that worries me a little bit. I know this individual, so I'm not sure what he's going to do with that hot blade, but and some maggots. I guess to help clean your wound. I guess you're gonna have a maggot farm, maybe. I don't know. Now we're getting a little crazy. Okay, might be just yanking chains now.
I'll be honest, Jeremy. I'll do the Rambo, open up a bullet and pour the gunpowder into my wound and light it before I do all the shit you just fucking. And like, no. So, but yeah, I think I'll just rub some high-proof alcohol on it and disinfect it. Like, they probably should have figured that out by at least the Civil War.
Yeah.
One would think, but
one would think.
So that's the stuff I'd recommend stocking up on. Food, obviously. Hell, my farm, we've kind of made the decision we're just going to keep going, and there's some farmers that have been getting letters from the USDA. Yeah, keep that shit rolling out, man. Please. Actually, no, you're not allowed to close. So
yeah,
we made the decision, COVID or no COVID, just we're going to keep pumping it out. Just do what we can. So
does it get to that point, do you think, of if there is a more of a mass hysteria, a good chunk of, the farmers we do have probably are on the elderly side of things. So some of them I could see being a little bit more, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Do you think it gets to a point where the government says, I don't give a shit, get out to the field? Like, you see the opposite of what you're seeing in Jersey, where they're locking them down and throwing them in jail for going outside. Do they like financially hardship on the farmers that don't go out and produce?
I don't think they're going to do that, but I do think they'll incentivize in one way or another to produce. And if, for example, farming is a pretty close-knit community. If, for example, Farmer Joe across the street, he's down with COVID and he's recovering, and he just can't plant his field. Well, Farmer Bob right across the road, they can work out a rental agreement where he'll go across the road, plant his crop for him. He'll make a small custom planting fee, and everybody, the crop will go in so long as we have a decent amount of it. Like, me, even if I'm down with Corona, I'll probably be out in a tractor out in the middle of somewhere just planting, because planting season's coming up towards the end of next month.
Yep. Not a whole lot of time. No, yep. That's good and encouraging, at the same time, like, I don't know, what other things are not as close knit a community as say, the farm community. We look at your commercial bread that you buy. Most of that's done in a factory, not that far. They got bread factories still. They still bake that stuff pretty fresh. Like, loaves of bread are fresh baked, no matter where you get it from, whether local grocery store or maybe they baked it in store. Either way, like, there's got to be a factory to run that, and we're starting to see staffing issues and stuff like that in many of those industries as well. How do you combat that? If we don't do a total lockdown and total shutdown, like some scientists are saying is the only way to fix this, and then if we just stick with the rules we have today, it will drag out till July, August, like everybody's saying. How do we speed it up? I got a couple ideas, but I'm sure you've had time to ponder. How do we just get this to shorten up and get past it? Any bright ideas from KOE?
Well, some health officials are saying that it'll start to clear up by summer, which I certainly hope so. There's some crops that can even be planted as late as late June. So, yeah, I've actually seen that myself. I planted crops, and it wasn't the best harvest. No, the yields weren't spectacular, but you still got a harvest from it. I don't think we'll get to that point because, like I said, the farmers will be out planting when it needs to go. That's just, and when it's one, maybe two farmers out alone in a tractor out in the middle of nowhere, I think even if we're in serious lockdown, I see us still being out producing because, like I said, a lot of farmers have been told, thou shalt not close your doors under any circumstance. So, fuck, doing our part.
I don't know. Any ideas on how to stop it or slow it, I guess is where I was going with it. Like anything that you would impose if you were in charge of things?
Oh, man. Well,
that's a scary proposition. Phil in charge of the country.
KOE. let me just drink that in for a minute. Okay. All right. But so honestly, there should be a moratorium on all international travel from any country. We're moving in the right direction, but we shut down the EU, then we added UK, and I'm not sure if we've gone to complete shutdown of all international travel, but that would honestly be the first step. All international travel, except for U.S. citizens trying to get back into the United States, and then they're screened, tested, blah, 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 blah. Then after that, this one's going to be the rough one. And this one, I'm kind of curious about what your take is, because this is going to be coming down the pike before we know it. All 50 states, interstate travel bans. How do you think that one's going to go over, Chicken, Mr. Interstate Travel Man?
I don't think it'll be popular. As not each state is created equal, but I get it. It's strange to think that we're talking about that, as that's never really been put on the table until the COVID Chronicles began. I don't know. It makes it really tough. There's some communities that are multi-state, of course, that would have to make exceptions, and there's all the little details and dumb stuff there. But how do you care for loved ones? How do you? I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of problems that run into it that I'm not even thinking about. But even transportation with goods and services, I don't know. Most of my distribution centers are not in my state. So of course I'll have to, put a kibosh on that. But if, truck drivers get a free pass on there, okay, sure. We can make that a rule that's pretty simple to do, but I don't know. I'm just trying to rack it through my head what it actually looks like if that actually was imposed on us tomorrow. I don't know, folks, if you got anything, put them in the comment section, but I think everybody would survive. Like, I'm not in a big rush to chase down a different state right now. I really don't care. I'll try to stay home as much as I can unless I got to go do something. But I guess if somebody's got to go, or they're really worried about something, or somebody's sick, or I don't know, there's going to be reasons people should go. I don't know who's traveling right now. Who's interstate traveling?
Well, Chicken, that's why I was bringing up you, because it might be folks like you, and that's about it. You might be the only folks. Is that Brett DeLay's question?
Yeah, he said, Phil, how do you enforce that? That's true. How do you? We can't even. Well, I don't know. We can't enforce people staying home in Jersey by arresting them. So,
Now, the question of should we enforce that? That's a different question entirely, and one that unfortunately our courts are going to have to decide, aren't they? The government's
at a much later date.
Yeah. How? How is all political edicts carried out? Through the barrel of a gun. That is how it will be done. Army, National Guard, any kind of military that you can imagine, the police force being mobilized. Yeah, that'll be how it'll be done, through the barrel of a gun. That'll be how it'll be enforced. Unfortunately, but that is how state edicts are generally enforced. So that'll be, and yeah, boy, did you ever think that you would potentially see military blockades between North and South fucking Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska? What the fuck? Now, granted, let's be frank, most of it is going to be one military Humvee parked at every north-south highway going between Nebraska, South Dakota, with like 2 National Guard kids with 5 rounds apiece in their rifle, thinking, well, since the news scared the shit out of everybody, nobody's really fucking coming here, but we got to stand here. So that'll be what I think will happen. And yes, it'll be tremendously wasteful in terms of military expenditures and resources and time and effort and energy, but
I don't think we'll see a lot of problems with it right away if it does happen. I don't necessarily see in some states I see a need for it, but like right now, most of where people are, I think, the highways are empty for the most part. The interstates aren't that packed with people. I think a majority of people are following the rules here. But I don't know. I think it'd be easy to monitor and institute, and everything. Unfortunately, everything would be on the honor system like it is right now, and we know how honorable a lot of folks are in this country. So I'll obey. Oh yeah.
I'll buy Scott's honor. But
yeah, I don't like the honor system. It doesn't work. I got a good kid, but even the nicest kid in the world, I'll put him on the honor system and he's gonna break it. Like it's just a matter of time. I can't remember the math equation I had read before, but it's got a lot to do with opportunity. And the more opportunity you get to break a rule, eventually it's going to happen, right? Oh God, he coughed.
Yeah, no, that was a sneeze actually. Oh my God. Shit, I'm gonna just give you a computer virus.
That's why I backed off of the screen. I'd get out of here.
Digital social distancing, folks. We are the models of behavior here.
Taking this to another level.
Honestly, again, we're talking President Phil KOE, which, any day now. This is going to sound a little draconian, but you look at the states with the highest COVID-19, and I think just generally, New York State should just impose its own in-out travel ban. Nobody in, nobody out. I think for the general good of, all of its surrounding states and neighbors, that would probably be for the best. The only thing that comes in is people bringing in supplies. And other than that, you really just have to deal with trash and garbage, which the state's going to have to be self-sufficient on that regard. And it's like we were talking the other day, if people start getting sick in the service industries or keeping public services going, that's some of the people that they allow to come in to help, bolster those services. That's how I see that one working out. And then we might actually roll back the curve a little bit in the state of New York.
So your campaign slogan would be build the wall around your state.
Build 50 individual walls. It will be beautiful. Beautiful walls.
Nice. Yes, next question popping in here. We are 8 days into the 15 days. What happens when they say it's going to be another 15 days, and how do people take that? Phil, I'll let you start off on this one.
That's why people are stocking up on a lot of toilet paper, because if you're hearing from the government, be prepared to be locked down 15 days. Holy shit, you may never be allowed to go outside again. A little bit of hyperbole, but what I'm getting at is, yes, it'll obviously be longer than what they say. So, yeah, that's why folks are stocking up, and that's why you're seeing these crazes, because some people know. They know that at what point, here's the bigger question that I'll posit to you, and if anybody in the audience can give me a hint on this one. At what point do you think we're actually going to get to the point where a government official comes out and says, well, that's it. We solved this one, folks. It's all good. Everything's all right. Like, do you think we're honestly going to get to that before the election even?
No, God, no. That's not going to happen for quite some time. I think this is gonna, hopefully right now everybody's just focused on, keeping people safe and keeping people healthy, because that's what the immediate concern should be. But this will, we already started seeing it a little bit. It's getting politicized. You're seeing the media starting to make it was hard for them to do the full stop and go, hey, it's time to support your president. Because we always see that. We saw it with George Bush. We've seen it with Obama. When you run into a national crisis, the media realigns. They get back in, and there's a few outliers, but most everybody falls in line. We saw Ilhan Omar and other Democratic representatives and senators starting to show support and back Trump, even though they absolutely hate him. That will fall to the wayside, and that's not going to last very long. Again, that's looking at history, right? Every single crisis or emergency we've had follows the same suit. But the media, I thought it was pretty funny. It's been really hard for them because they've been full court press on Trump and trying to just do everything they could. Jeremy, wow, I love what you just sent me on Facebook. I don't know if I can show that one. Anyway, yeah. No,
it's not the YouTube stream.
Yeah, that was rough. Sorry.
If it minorly offends anyone in any way, there's no way YouTube will ever allow it.
No. Yeah, we can't post that one. Anyway, so what I was saying, the media has been so hard on Trump. Now they're being asked to back off. It's time to show national support and unity and get everybody in line. And a good chunk of them did. I think it's calmed down a little bit, but you still have you got the ones just digging at those just awful questions and trying to just pose everything as racist or sexist or whatever. But they're I don't know. I think they get more exposed now than ever with how ridiculous they're being. I don't know. Did you see the video I sent you earlier today on today's press conference?
Okay, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny, but okay.
It was funny. It was funny.
Okay, all right. Maybe not the most polite thing you can do. Okay, but that shit was fucking hilarious. Trump, oh, Romney's in isolation. That's too bad.
Yeah. So what happened is there was two reporters sitting there, and they're asking Trump about all the people that are in quarantine, that are in Congress or Senate, and he's like, what were the names again? And they name them off. Mitt Romney's one of them in self-isolation. And then they start asking their question. He just stops them in the middle of their question, just classic, and then goes, "You said Mitt Romney self-isolating? Oh, geez, that's too bad." You could just tell the look on his face. And then the two reporters, the one looked at the other one and had a grin on his face, and the other one kind of chuckled, and he's like, "Was that sarcasm, President?" He's like, no, it wasn't.
Not at all. Not at all. God damn it. That's that. Yeah. That, like I said the other night, God damn, Trump 45 is perfect for America. Yeah, even in these trying times, still entertaining shit. Fuck.
Yeah. He is an entertainer. Love him or hate him, he's an entertainer for sure.
And so, this one is, we're going to see what happens here. Rand Paul tested positive, which that one kind of took me for a loop. Like, goddamn, really, Rand Paul? But yeah, he's been out, he's been traveling, and now all the people in Congress are pissed off at him. And you did have an interesting point to add to this when we were texting back and forth about this, Chicken. Would you like to give the audience thought?
So if you have been watching the news, Rand Paul does. He is your staunch libertarian when it comes to most bills, and right now, of course, with the talk that we're having on civil liberties and how this is all playing out in the long term, he's been voting against. He's one of the only Republicans voting against a lot of the stimulus stuff because, you know, as a libertarian, this isn't what you want to happen. You're always trying to follow the Constitution to the T and how it's written. But now that he has come down with COVID-19, or the beer flu, as I like to say, he is not able to vote on any bill because anything passed in the Senate or voted on in the Senate, you must be present in the building for. You can't do it digitally or remotely because we're still in 1776, Phil.
Oh, no. This is would you like to see my best Mitch McConnell impression right now, knowing this? Okay. Oh, no. That's just a tragedy. Rand Paul won't be able to hold this thing up. Oh, I can almost feel an extra $500 billion get added to this stimulus package as we speak. Holy Jesus. All right, boys, let's get back to work. I think that's pretty.
Yeah, get back to work, and then the Democrats are still holding it out. There was hope for it passing tonight. Now it's going to be another day.
Democrats held it up by introducing their own legislation just a few hours ago, when we already had again, the Republicans and the progressive wing of the Democrats are together, and then the good old boys club, Nancy and Charles Schumer's good old boys Democrat club, you know, the Nancy Pelosi, fucking Joe Biden, Charles Schumer, good old boys club of the Democrats. They bring their own bill, which doesn't give money to anybody, and all it does is expand unemployment benefits, which now they're just muddying the waters. So yes, it's wow, those champions of the working people, the Democrats that are stopping the working people from getting aid during a crisis. Wow. All right. Good luck in the Rust Belt, guys.
Yeah. No, I had popped up that comment. This is kind of going back to the closed borders. Brett also thinks they're waiting on the states the states are waiting on the stimulus deal before they make any of those types of decisions, which might be beyond, you know, closing borders. There's probably a lot of decisions being made according to the stimulus package. And what is the federal government going to give us? And then what resources do we need to allocate from there on out? I think is where a lot of people's minds are at the state and local government level, at least.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's talking about how much money is everybody going to get? Are we going to get any money? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Man, it's just kind of surreal to watch all of this happen. I don't know how else to put it. In the States, it should probably be a one-time deal, one-time package. Unless in another 6 months we're still under this thing, 3 to 6 months we can look at it again. But one-time package, so we get all the money up front. And yeah, like I was saying, Chicken, like everybody's worried about, oh no, the inflation. You're talking to a guy that was against QE1, QE2, both quantitative easings, because at that time it was inflationary. Now, like I said, we lost a third of the Dow's value in 9 days. This is as close as we've ever been in the modern era to what actually caused the crash of the 1920s, which was a deflationary depression. And this is another moment where we stand on the cusp of that. And now we've got Donald Trump, Mr. Republican, but not exactly. He's not exactly a conservative, but he's in there that's now going to have to shepherd this thing through. And I never thought this kind of era would befall us. And what is the comment we got here, Chicken?
Them are the people that don't understand how a stimulus package works, Phil.
Most people.
Yeah.
A stimulus package is a very nice way of saying we're giving lots of money to people. That's all it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's backhanded deals in there too, I'm sure.
Oh God, yeah. A $2 trillion carve out, which is what it's looking like, was going to be 1.5 trillion. But call me crazy. Now that Rand isn't involved, somehow I think we're gonna make that $2 trillion finish line. Chicken, call me crazy. You heard it.
So, what about more news is coming out about the four senators that sold stocks right before the big crash? Are you up to speed with that? I heard a little bit about it today. I didn't dive into it, but it sounds like, there's more questioning, more poking and prodding, but it sounds like most of them are still holding to their story.
Yeah, it's very hard to prove insider trading, especially in this instance. I can't remember all the senators' names, but I have looked into the case you're talking about. One of them was a governor-appointed senator, too, and one of them, Senator Dianne Feinstein. And yes, they do look shady on its surface, because it's in numbers that, for most people, those are massive numbers. But you have to understand, for, all the senators we're talking about, like Senator Dianne Feinstein, for example, she made a few $1 million off this deal. You have to understand, she's so massively and vastly wealthy that the transaction that she made was about that much of her overall. That might have been something done by a trustee that they wouldn't even have been aware about. And yes, it does seem shady, and they did change the law in 2010, because before that, no member of Congress could be convicted of insider trading. You just couldn't. And I kind of understand it because, you have so much information coming at you. The idea that you're not going to act on it's really almost it.
Yeah, it's silly to think that you wouldn't act on. I get where you're going there. It almost sounds like I don't know who's calling it out. I guess that's where I would want to look more into it. Is who's bringing this stuff to light and who's investigating it? Because it kind of sounds like it's weak and it's maybe ill-informed or poorly investigated. It sounds like something AOC would bring up. That I just don't know all the details, but it sounds really bad. So I'm just going to make a big deal out of it and get clicks on YouTube or Twitter or whatever the hell. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
You got to understand, we're in an era now where we're trying to manufacture controversy now. If we can't find it, the supply of controversy is not meeting the clear demand that the media has. Yes, this is probably bad, and yes, a couple of them got some splaining to do. But I think in the end, we're going to find that as much as, I am not one to agree with Senator Dianne Feinstein, but when I looked into it, I really could. And the idea that the coronavirus hits, I should sell those stocks and invest them in telecommunications because people are going to be communicating online more. Chicken, that kind of Nostradamus-like investing advice. Shit, who could have ever thunk that up? Other than anybody. Fuck, really? I'm sorry. It's
yeah.
I've looked into it and I just can't.
Just for Jeremy. Yeah, real quick. Just for Jeremy, I might unbutton my shirt a little bit more. Jesus, getting weird in the chat tonight. real quick. Phil, I think this one's directed more towards you. If you follow the market, it was way overextended anyways. It had to pull back, but this Kung Flu, love it, just made it drop hard. Yes, it did. Thoughts on that?
Oh, you're absolutely right. And when it first started, I was thinking, well, there really is no fundamental reason for the market to correct. It was just chugging along fine. This is the one thing that will cause a downturn or downward trend in its price. And then the whole fucking economy shut down and we lost a third of our fucking value in 9 goddamn days. That was the unexpected part. I'll be honest with you. If I was a little more exposed to the Dow and not as exposed to the grain, I'm a farmer, grain markets. That's my life. And trust me, they got kicked in the shorts too. Don't think it's all fucking roses and peaches and cream over here. But yeah, that one, I wouldn't have thought we were going to lose a third of the fucking Dow's value in 9 days. If you'd have told me that 9 days before it started, I would not have believed it. So that you do raise an excellent point there, sir.
Yeah. No, yeah, it has been, I think, inflated and like everybody talks about, where's the bubble? How big is the bubble? How's the bubble going to pop in reference to the economy? And we've heard experts for the last year and a half saying recession's coming, whether that fear was true or not, just historically, it seemed like it was probably on the way within the next few years. Some argued that it'd be after the 2020 election. Some people said it's due any moment. You can argue those every day, but yeah, you're right. This Kung Flu, as Brett put it, definitely escalated it and brought it abruptly to us in the moment. But how far do you think it's going, Phil? Because I've seen articles where they estimated a financial collapse due to some of these bubbles and just eventuality of the market failing itself was to come in like 2040. Is you get all these doomsday predictors, but now they're saying that this beer flu has expedited that to now, and it's gonna happen sooner than the flu goes away. What are your thoughts on that of total near total economic collapse? You warned of it. You talked about it being like the 1920s and the Great Depression. Do you think that's right in front of us? Is that on the doorstep right now?
We are on the cusp of a deflationary depression. Yes, we absolutely are. And it'll take probably not just the United States, but I mean, you talk about you and I were talking back and forth. I mean, this could threaten the petrodollar. And I was like, I don't really think so. So long as our economy is centered around petroleum, the petrodollar will forever have some kind of hold in our economy until that changes. In regards to the collapse, a week and a half ago, there's some guy that I chat with online who's kind of a wackaloon, but he talked about how, well, shit, we should probably just freeze the markets altogether. Just freeze them where they are, wait till this thing all subsides, and then start them back up sometime in the future. And I thought that was the most insane thing I'd ever heard in my fucking life. Still do. But I'm wondering at what point is, like you said, the ease of the world going to get fucking wind of that idea and think, let's make that one happen.
Yeah.
Fill up my spine.
Yeah. So obviously you're more of the free market thinker. You want to keep the markets open. You want to expand as much as we can and keep America working and growing the money. And I agree with that, but it goes against the quarantine advice. It goes against everything we're supposed to be doing right now. And I think that's why us as a country are just so damn confused on why we can't fix this, and why this is probably going to be around all summer long, and this is going to be a problem. And then even if we do squash it by summer, it's probably going to come back again. We're talking 18 months, 24 months or longer of this being an issue for our country long term. So I don't know, like the free market could hurt us potentially with what we want to do to open it up. What are your thoughts there?
I am kind of reminded of a quote by Tucker Carlson where he's talking about how there are some conservatives that they treat the free market as if it's holy gospel. Like, oh, Monsignor, I've sinned against the free market. Can I have an allowance? Can I have what is my penance amount? And I understand that thinking. But yeah, the free market is the free flow of goods when things are allowed to flow as they would want to naturally do so. We are in a different state now because of this virus where we're all going to have to make a few social compromises. We've got the far right-wing Republicans agreeing to universal basic income with the far left progressives to keep our society moving forward. Like that.
I never would have thought this is what we'd be talking about a few weeks ago.
Like I'm just sitting here like, like I'm kind of like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park looking at Donald Trump and his amazing fucking like crazy son of a bitch. He did it. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know, man. This is so weird. We got some more Grow the Farm Up checking in.
Hey, we actually gave you a shout out not too long ago. We talked about your Ides of March video. Grow the Farm Up, like, share, subscribe to them as well, folks. And yeah, Grow the Farm Up. Here we are in the Ides of fucking March, and yeah, bit prophetic on your part, sir.
He puts market volatility makes people a lot of money. Nobody's going to close the markets. Also appears that commodities have detached from the Dow market. Their moves are no longer related, which means managed money has now moved from Wall Street back into commodities, oil, corn, soybeans. Thoughts?
That whenever there's economic downturn and economic collapses on people's lips, commodities always start to look pretty appealing. So, yeah.
Is that because they're more? Is that you can? Is that because you can measure the volatility of them a little bit better? You know, as that's what he was mentioned before. Volatility makes a lot of money, but right now, is that why commodities all of a sudden become a little bit more? Is it more of a safe bet instead of having to play with everything else that you don't know what's going to happen?
Oh, yes. With a commodity, there's still at the end of the day a real commodity, like, you know, an orange, for example, that I appeal. Like, at the end of the day, there's still a real orange that has intrinsic value regardless. And that's why commodities, like if you track back to 2008, the collapse back then, that all the speculator money ran into commodities because it was safer. It's not going to oscillate quite so like the Dow losing, like I said, a third of its fucking value in 9 fucking days. It's pretty wild for any investment strategy. So yes, I could see that. And yeah, the money's starting to trickle in there, and we'll see how that progresses from the next few weeks.
Fair enough. So where do we go from here? I guess we've talked nothing but beer flu so far. I don't mind talking about other subjects, but man, like I don't know how you talk about anything else.
Well, it is the topic of our day is beer flu, and we're even like, and it encompasses everything, every aspect of our lives. From the things we invest in to how much toilet paper we have to wipe our own asses with. Okay, yes, there's a reason everybody's engaged in the topic, you could say.
Yeah, I do look at an empty roll of toilet paper way different than I ever did before. Like right now, when I see an empty roll of toilet paper, I don't panic, but I just look at it and I'm like, somebody somewhere right now is freaking out when they see that. It's just fascinating to think about. Ugh, it's weird.
I just got to say on a side note, me and Tony, we got this bottle in Texas, and this is the evening now that it gets polished off.
Oh, Tony couldn't join us tonight. I think he's doing some family time this Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's got an entire litter of children at home to tend to, so we will chronicle for this evening. That is the end of the Hampton Overproof rum. It served me quite well.
Quick plug again here for Grow the Farm Up. People are literally starving for the knowledge of what is actually in their food and what's on Grow the Farm Up channel.
Yes, nice. I will give you credit, Grow the Farm Up. Shameless self-promotion is the backbone of our economy. So, yeah, do check out his channel. He's trying to set up an interface so that the consumer can actually talk directly with the producers of food. And that's a very worthwhile endeavor as far as I'm concerned, because the population, there's so few people in the general human population that's tied to agriculture now that there is kind of a disconnect from people from the food they eat versus how it got to be there. And so it's a good project.
It is a good project. I do like the next question that he poses here. The question is, when do we hit the bottom turnaround? And I assume he means for how long? God, I think that's the question on everybody's mind is, when does this hit the bottom?
I understand what you're saying there, and I have my theories, but man, Grow the Farm Up. If I knew that, I'd give you the tip and we would all become billionaires in the stock market tomorrow. But really, when live events can actually be hosted again is going to be when it all turns around. So look to the entertainment venues and the entertainment companies that have the money to weather this storm and want to start back up as soon as they possibly can. Your sports, for example, any kind of sports, any kind of entertainment venues, movie theaters, restaurants. The minute your local restaurants can start taking customers again, that's when the economic turnaround will hit.
That's fair enough. I think I'm kind of, thinking ahead that whether that be, sport events, like you said, better not mess with college football. I'll lose it. But no, I think when you start having some of those group gatherings again, really good point there. But here's what I see is we're going to have these group gatherings. And I've talked about this. It's going to come in multiple waves. So yeah, we'll hit a bottom and we'll start coming out of it. We'll have these local gatherings, but then it's going to hit again. So when we come out of it, are we going to come out of it big and quick and then have these events and then drop hard and fast again? Or will it be a hiccup in the system? I guess that's what I'm more afraid of is, everybody goes, yes, all right, everything's back on track. Let's get this thing booming again. And then round 2 hits and we just go right back to what we're doing right now. And it just falls apart. I think you start losing a lot of faith. And yeah, I don't know. That could be darker times than what we're seeing today.
Oh, count on next year being about as bad as this year. Maybe not as bad as this year because now we have awareness, but it's going to take at least 18 months for a reliable vaccine to be manufactured. So
yeah,
this is just going to be part of what happens now. As of right now, it seems and feels really hard-nosed. But in the future, they're really going to be thinking themselves like, God, it's one of those like, England is going, have you heard about what their general philosophy in this whole coronavirus is, Chicken? Have you heard?
No, I have not.
Their thinking is now that the infection is here, we are going to allow the herd to get immunity. Do you know what that means?
So they're just going to let everybody get infected?
Yep.
I've heard that theory. A lot of doctors say that might be the right way to go. Might. Here's the risk you run with that is a a lot of people get sick and a lot of people are going to die, but everybody will get the antibodies for it. So it might be the quickest way to deal with it scientifically, but that's risky. That's a lot of people that die. I don't know.
Yeah, but boy, it'd be really shitty to be that guy that died for somebody's social experiment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's the problem with social engineering, is that it affects real people. So I understand the philosophy, but God, there's a part of me that just, it does not sit right with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and Jeremy coming across there. This is just the beginning, absolutely. Definitely just the beginning. We got a long ways to go on this. But I guess, until then, we'll keep going with the COVID Chronicles, brought to you by the Dog and Chicken Show, brought to you by Phil tonight. Phil actually sent the text of, hey, we getting on tonight? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. So here we are, folks. Like,
well, come on, you, me, Chicken, and all you folks at home. Let's be frank, we're all in quarantine. What the fuck else you got to do? So
yeah. Might as well.
And also, raise my glass to all of you out here in the audience this evening.
Cheers. It is really interesting. I'm not like quarantined or any of that. Normally I travel a lot for work, and I see, I have to stay in hotels a lot. So I'll be gone 3, 4, 5 nights out of the week, and I'm not home a whole bunch of nights in a row. This has been really strange for me to just be home every day. I just, it's not something I've even before taking this job, I'd be working some crazy hours and weird shifts, but now it's just strange. I don't know. It doesn't seem real yet. Almost, yeah. It's just too weird. I don't know why I can't get in my car and go drive 3 hours and work for 5 days straight. Like, that's what I want to do, just naturally, and I can't do that right now. So I have to I've been restricted to minimal travel, of course, but also minimal contact. So, I'm not allowed to see certain groups of people at work, because if all of us were to come down with it and we all had contact with each other, then your whole leadership structure falls apart. So you got that as a thought process, which I'm really surprised with that. On that topic, what are your thoughts? Like, we have what's that show with was it Kiefer Sutherland, where he's like the guy, if everybody in the White House dies, he's the new president, and then it happens, or what?
Survivor.
Yeah, designated survivor. Like, are we not thinking about that? We got Trump and Pence, and then everybody. Like, I know Trump's been really kind of keeping his distance and staying in the White House for the most part, but I don't know. How's that play out? Like, my leadership's worried about me being in contact with other leadership just in case they go out. Like, somebody's got to be in charge of shit. So how's that working at the White House right now? What are your thoughts on that? Any insight?
Oh, Jesus. Now, the one thing Trump has going for him is, before he even started his campaign, it was well known Trump is a germaphobe. He generally doesn't like to shake hands. It's not his style. Now, when you see him at the State of the Union, he'll come and he'll shake people's hands, but he's not happy about it. And so that's what he's got going for him. But yeah, there's folks in his administration that are getting it. And I'm thinking he'll probably pull through. But like I said in an earlier podcast, if it can be stated with truth and it's actually verified, the headline says Donald Trump contracts COVID-19. I'm taking a line in Vegas and putting everything on Biden, because
where is Biden? Where is Biden?
Probably has COVID. But yeah, if he did, I would hide him. Nope, you recover, you get over this in 2 weeks. When you're done, get back up. Don't worry about it. Like that's
He gets the luxury of just like going silent right now. If Biden were to get it, he can just go hide out for 2 weeks, get over it, take all the drugs that money can buy. DNC's not going to let him die, and then come back. But yeah, you're right. If Trump gets it, he can't hide for 2 weeks. Everybody's looking at Trump right now for everything. But that's been the meme right now. That was trending on Twitter the other day of Biden's missing. Because nobody's seen him. He's not, well, he can't figure out the internet and can't figure out how to do a live stream, apparently. We got us down, but he can't figure it out. That's why I won't vote for him. That's one of many reasons.
Jesus Christ, man. Like
one of many reasons I won't vote for him is he can't figure out the internet. But
yeah. Give that man the nuclear codes. My God. But that's why this election, the only reason that it kind of calls it into question for me now is if Trump was allowed to go out campaign and do rallies, no problem. He's got this on lockdown. This shuts down his ability to do rallies. And that's because Trump fills up a stadium of 10,000 people. Those are 10,000 people that he is energized to vote for him. Now he's got to figure out another way to do it. Joe Biden, I keep telling folks, like, every election is going to be a nail biter. If you were to have a president get a 55% in the general election, that would basically be considered a mandate from God himself. Like, that is the kind of majority you will never get in American politics. This one's going to be a nail biter too, but I keep telling people, Joe Biden's campaign, his campaign slogan, it's deceptively persuasive. Watch out for it. It's just very simple. Back to normal. Oh, that just kicks on nostalgia. And especially in these trying times, people will suddenly want to just go back to normal. Like that's...
I feel like you're promoting him.
I'm not, but I'm, well, what I'm telling, I always bring up persuasion. You're not talking about truth necessarily, but you're talking about how do you persuade someone to agree with you. And Joe Biden, that's all politics is. And Joe Biden's found a pretty catchy slogan. And so it's like, make America great again. Tremendously persuasive. Keep America great. Tremendously persuasive. But it's kind of like I like Ike. They're very easy and they're easy to remember. And so I'm just saying, be forewarned.
You got to be careful with what you say on here, though, because it sounds like he has been taking some of the advice you gave him weeks ago of just shut up and say, I was Obama's vice president, because that's what he started to do there towards the end, because I think that was the only thing he could say. I also saw a montage of all of the weird little girl sniffing and touching. It's fucking creepy. Like I used to just make fun of it. I used to just make fun of it to make fun of it, but then like somebody actually compiled like a 5-minute long video of every time he like creepily touches kids, puts his hand around their waist, and you see them like trying to push away and cringe, and the whole thing is just disturbing. Now it was well edited to make it disturbing, and I'm sure there's no context. I'm sure some of those was this person and whatever, there's family or whatever. Like I'm sure there's context, but like just looking at that video, it was just gross. I just gave me the chills. I just like, oh my God, he's a chimo. But I don't know, probably not, but. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, let me throw that one in there for you. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the videos. I've just seen the photos, and my reaction is, so yeah, that's gonna work against him. I just don't know how. Like Democrats. It was Trump country that gave Joe Biden the nomination. Okay?
Right.
But this is a gamble. I'm going to give it to you. The only reason why Joe Biden has any chance. He's from Pennsylvania, and he's polling amazingly well in the Rust Belt. That's it. That's the only reason he's got a chance. So we're going to see. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Like I keep saying it was going to be Kamala Harris. There's some folks who say it's going to be Amy Klobuchar as his VP, just so he can really lock down the Rust Belt. Because if he can take Pennsylvania and the Rust Belt, Trump can even take Virginia. And I still think Biden wins the Electoral College by a slim margin.
I'll share the video that I mentioned earlier. I have pulled up. I won't be able to share the audio because for whatever reason, when I share the audio on here, we get a weird echo and it sucks for all you guys watching. Here's the creepy video I'm talking about. This is about 3 minutes long. We'll play through it. It is creepy. So again, it's got no audio, but you'll be able to get the point. So you see her dodging his attempts to grab her cheek.
Ew. What the fuck? It's just, ugh.
Yeah.
Because chicken, that's what I do to strangers all the time. Ew, what the fuck? No.
This little girl's like, get away.
No. Don't give this man nuclear codes. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want to believe anybody's this creepy.
Pretty hard stance there.
Yeah, he's spent so many time with so many people, so I imagine that it's bound to have a bad experience, or like you're gonna have a gaffe like that once in a while, taking pictures. But I don't know. This is just this is weird. This is really weird.
Touchy feely.
It bothers me. It really does. Like. I think of this as like a dad and uncle. If I looked over and saw one of my nieces being petted by this old dude, and then he leans over and sniffs him and tries to kiss him, I'd just be like, we're done here. Like, no. Oh.
Ew. No.
Everything's ew.
Like, you can tell Joe Biden's clearly not a germaphobe, so maybe...
He probably does have.
Maybe he does have corona. That's why they're hiding him. He's going through the worst few days. Allegedly.
I
love throwing that one in. You can say anything about anyone, and you throw allegedly on the end, and you're fucking good.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough. We're only halfway through that one, but it's just more of the same.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
But you're right,
it's
chicken.
just icky.
All Trump has to do in his campaign ad is just run that in a loop in Ohio, Pennsylvania. It's just, I'm paying for this time to just, show Joe Biden doing this gross stuff for a minute and a half. I paid for it. Yes, you do want to change the channel. I bet you do. And you will change the channel to another channel playing the same thing. Oh, my God. Then you'll know.
Gross.
So it's.
What are your thoughts on. We'll leave Joe Biden. Oh, God. That guy just gives me the heebie-jeebies. What about. Speaking of heebie-jeebies, how about Mayor Bill de Blasio?
Grow the farm up as a quick point here. With chicken. Let me ask you a question here, sir.
Sure.
Question. Would you rather leave your wife alone in a room with Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Quick poll.
Oh, fuck. My wife would just beat the shit out of Joe Biden. She might fall in love with Trump. I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, everybody would be like, well, shit, Trump, that's one persuasive motherfucker. He might be able to fuck everyone in the room he wants to. So I don't know about that. But yeah, Joe Biden, she's at least going to have some really uncomfortable story to tell you. So yeah, I guess gotta go Trump. Trump wins again.
Yeah.
Used to it. And even Trump said, you're going to be like, Mr. President, you're going to win so much. There's like, no, I don't want to win anymore. Please help. But no, we're going to keep winning. And that's an example of Trump keep winning.
Yep. So speaking of cringe and issues with creepy people, De Blasio. So yeah, I know, right? So Governor Cuomo's actually been really, positive through this whole thing in New York, and seems like he's actually doing a good job. We've had issues with leadership in New York several times, but Cuomo's actually handling it quite well, and not having a little pitter patter war with Trump. He's just flat out saying, here's what I need. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm getting from everybody else. He's just stating the facts. He's calming people down. He's talking nice and calm. But then you get de Blasio jumping on and, well, Trump ain't doing this and Trump ain't doing that. Now I'm thinking to myself, you spent $500 million that you could have used right now of your own money. I would have rather you not run and used $500 million just to spend on your constituent or on your own city to help with this crisis. But no, he would rather sit there and bitch and moan and blame Trump for everything, even though the governor Cuomo is saying, hey, like, Trump's doing the best he can. We got this. We're doing everything we can right now. Is it striking to you that de Blasio is like just being such a lack of the, I don't know. I don't know if I want to call him the C word just yet, but I'm pretty damn close to it. The 4-letter C word, by the way.
Bill de Blasio made a quick little appearance on Our Cartoon President, one of my favorite political cartoon shows. And his moment there was perfect. He was up on the debate stage. Hello, I'm Bill de Blasio. And my one flaw is that I care too little. So, yeah, it sounded like that was pretty on the nose. Cuomo, I'm kind of shocked. Like, I've never been a big fan of Cuomo. He and I have our differences. I mean, son of a bitch texts me all the time. He keeps trolling me. It's crazy. No. Well, as important as Phil KOE is. But he's actually been a fairly positive force in his state to try and keep calm. So I'll at least give him that. We'll see how this all goes. Man, the Cuomo brothers. Dad got us these real neat jobs. This is awesome. Oh, no, a disaster.
Yep, one's like, make America panic. And the other one's like, hey guys, be cool. Like, we're gonna get you through this. No, it's fascinating to watch the differences between the two of them. And then where do you think CNN turns from here? Because we're starting to see CNN actually is correcting course from, CNN 5 years ago was one thing. CNN 10 years ago was a totally different thing. CNN 15 to 20 years ago was an actual news station. So which version of CNN do you think is going to come up here in the next 2-3 months? Because I've seen a shift. They are like, they're stopping the crazy talk other than Don Lemon and some of those crazies. But you're starting to get facts now, and the opinions are slowing down. So what version of CNN are we going to start seeing pretty soon? Because either way, I'm happier that maybe we'll see some real news coming out from a major news source, an accredited news source. That, supposedly the most trusted name in news. Maybe somebody will start trusting them again. Which version do you think we're going to end up getting? 5-year, 10-year, 20-year? Let's rate it. Like, what kind of bottle of scotch do you think CNN's going to end up being?
So how are we grading that again? I'm sorry.
Are we going to get CNN from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 or 20? Like 20 obviously is the best version that was actually given the news, and then it degrades from there. Like, in the next 6 months, do you see them going back to any of those old versions of CNN?
At the most 5 years ago.
So we'll get Obama era CNN.
Well, they won't, try to make you believe that Trump is somehow in league with Satan himself or something like that. Like they've been kind of doing as of late. I think they're going to go back, but now something to keep in mind. this is a moment to be a little worried about. Just always keep in mind. Did you know that CNN has an end of the world tape ready to go?
Really?
Yep. Ted Turner, at the beginning of making CNN. You can find it. It's on the internet. And it's an army band playing Near My God to Thee, which was one of the songs that was played while the Titanic was sinking. And it's basically, if there's even one CNN employee left, they are to put that into the tape recorder or now the DVD, and that will be the absolute last thing ever broadcast on CNN News, that by order. If you see this tape of an army band playing Near My God to Thee, fuck! That might be your reaction. You found it. All right, here it is. This is what CNN will play at the end of the world.
So again, we're not going to play the audio. Well, maybe we are. I don't know if you can hear the audio or not. I'm not trying to play the audio, but yeah, I don't know. This is creepy.
Yep, this was made for nuclear warfare. If we were to have a nuclear exchange, the last living CNN employee was to play this video playing Near My God to Thee. And that's what they're playing. So if you were to see this footage play on CNN, that means that the people at CNN have been convinced that the end of the world is nigh. And this is very likely, and if the nuclear exchange would have happened, this would have been the last human broadcast, this video here. And it's still planned should the end of the world be nigh. So,
man, they can get some better quality. You can tell this was filmed in the 90s. Jesus.
Late 80s, early, basically the year CNN was founded, they filmed that. So it's some old footage, but that was Ted Turner's thing. When the end of the world comes, we will play Near My God to Thee.
Yeah.
And see how humanity exits this existence.
We'll see what kind of strikes I get from YouTube on that one. I just noticed that was from the Guardian. So if the Guardian's got some trolls on there chasing after us, they're going to put a copyright flag on that one too.
We said no sound, so I think we're good.
Good. Maybe I won't get flagged then. So real quick in reference to that. So last week we had played the whitehouse.gov video of Trump addressing all the reporters there. I'm just so frustrated with YouTube, and I know it's bots, I know it's algorithms, I know it's just all set up in the background, but I got flagged for copyright infringement on that live stream because I played a whitehouse.gov video, and the footage matched the same footage that, well, probably a million other newscasters used, but mine got flagged from vice.com. But everybody just flags everything like it's theirs. It said whitehouse.gov, like right up into the corner, right up here. It showed a little whitehouse.gov symbol. That's exactly where I was watching it from and streaming it to you, which is public domain. Come the fuck on, YouTube. Like, frustrating.
Not Vice. I actually kind of like some of their past reporting. I haven't been into much of their stuff lately, but their reports on North Korea were pretty groundbreaking. But wonder how they're handling this whole beer flu.
Well, it sounds like everybody's just hunkering down and flagging copyright infringement everywhere they can so they can monetize other people's shit, because that's what they did to mine. So. I hate it.
Copyright in the internet era is going to be an interesting new frontier that we're going to have to traverse, because it's clear that it's not serving either the content creator nor the general public, because I'm sure you remember it was the meme where Hitler gets angry and he yells at something. I'm sure you've seen it before.
Oh yeah.
And I forget what it's called, but it's from a movie that came out about 5-6 years ago. I had no idea this movie even existed until I saw this meme. And then I actually sought out the movie. Good movie. Hey, got to do something on a Sunday afternoon, right? And I would have never known had it not been for this meme. And the movie makers are copyright striking people who use the fucking meme. Like, seriously. Like,
it's gross.
Get your media exposed out to as many people as possible in any way you fucking can. It's a benefit to you. But we're still in a 20th century.
Well, that's the thing. That's why they try to copyright it, Phil. Because like as I explained on the show before, here's how this goes. If I play a clip and somebody can, even if they can only claim it for a day, so YouTube videos are good for usually live, and within the first 24 hours is when you get most of your views and viewership. Granted, we're a really small channel, so like I'm not making any money for anybody, honestly. Like. But like, say it's a Tim Pool. He's probably one of the ones that gets, beat over the head with this all the time. They will either demonetize his video just because they don't like what he said, so he can't make any money, and then 24 hours later he can make money, which is crap. And then the other version of it is if Vice.com were to take the footage that I showed and said, "Hey, I'm claiming that as mine," immediately Vice.com now can monetize my video, and they can make all the money that I would normally be making, and I can't monetize it. That's why they do it. They're like, oh, seen something that looks good and that looks kind of like mine, so boom, I'm going to take it. If I don't catch it and I don't dispute it right away, then they get to monetize my video without my knowledge until I actually go in and say something about it. It's horseshit.
Yep, like I said, our current model for copywriting is just not going to work in the 21st century. There is going to have to be a shift at some point, and unfortunately, it's going to take a couple more of our generation getting into political power. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's where we start to round the show out tonight of some of our thoughts of where we're going to take things from here. If we continue on the path of being home every night, not staying in hotel rooms, and I get to do more of this with my good old pal Phil. We got some ideas for some spin-off things, Dog and Chicken Show is a great show, don't get me wrong, and it definitely serves purpose, but we've just kind of used it as a platform for what we're talking about tonight. So I think we've talked about doing our own kind of news reporting / I don't know, COVID updates like we're doing on these live streams. A couple other thoughts in mind, but then Phil, you're talking about kicking off your own channel here pretty soon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, I'm going to be taking it digital. Keep your eyes on this space for the debut, but the KOE Nation page will be opening soon, folks. So you can keep up with all the daily happenings of your own devilishly handsome outlaw, Phil KOE, as we delve into all the topics of the day that concern you, concern me, concern the KOE Nation.
I look forward to it, man. It's going to be fun.
Toasts and salutes will also be appearing on that page and channel as well.
Yeah. So
and you actually got something down the pipe yourself, sir. Don't be modest. Don't try and downplay it, sir. It kind of ties in with what I've got going, and I think we'll need to be exchanging some notes coming up closely soon. But
possibly. I guess I could play. I don't know. I spent a whole bunch of time today just making the intro for a show I've been interested in doing since Phil had first introduced his presidential liquor reviews. So if you don't know about that one on Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, that's Phil and Tony's channel. They every president's birthday has like a 10-minute episode of that president, a little bit about him, and then what his favorite drink was, and then we all have a drink and toast to that president. But I wanted to take it a step further because I'm more interested in the history of things. I love the president's idea, and this will probably extend beyond that. But for now, kind of starting with George Washington and working our way through eventually getting to current day, but it's an hour-long episode where not only do we kind of go over the history, but we talk about like what did that president have to go through? What would that mindset be at that time? So you think, George Washington, Revolutionary War president, right after he's founding the country, and then how did that evolve as it went through everybody from James Madison, Thomas Jefferson? You start going down the line to Abe Lincoln. Like the country changed a lot in 100 years before Abraham Lincoln. He had some presidents probably not as politically important and didn't have much to deal with, but what was the political climate back then? And I don't know. As I'm homeschooling my child for the coming weeks, I thought this would be a fun side project for me to be doing while I ask him, did you figure that out yet? Did you figure that out yet? Because I'm going to be an awesome teacher.
That would be a great idea, a better deep dive omnibus, because we're trying to keep it, fairly, like, not brief, but like keep it around 10 minutes. Let's talk about, some of the high points, maybe a low point or two, but like generally keep it positive about every president of the United States, which when we get into the modern presidents, I'm looking forward to the political shitstorm that will befall us. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing a toast for every president, whether you liked them or not. They were people that had tastes. So why the hell not?
Yeah. So I'll play the little intro that I put together so you can get kind of a little preview of what I was doing. So that means, Phil, I'm going to have to mute both of us. I'm not doing it because I don't like you. It has nothing to do with that. I caught all kinds of shit the other night because I kept having to mute Phil and Tony because they had so much background noise. Oh, God, I got called a commie.
To the entire audience for... my studio audience that happened to come. Okay, mostly I apologize for JKK47. I do apologize.
Just call him out. Yeah. All right. I'm going to mute us.
On the National Guard part, but yeah, he kept it.
Yeah.
But all right.
So I'm gonna mute you real quick, sir, and you get a little exclusive preview here.
Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the small undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world.
So yeah, that's a quick sneak preview of what's to come. I don't know if "Meet Your President" will be the name or not. I just had to fill in that space, but that's it. That's the idea. Go through the first 15 presidents will be the kind of first season that takes time, takes research, so I can't do it all in 1 year. And shit, if I did all 45 presidents in 1 year, then what the hell else am I going to do next year? So I don't want to talk about Congress and senators.
Ew.
Ew.
But yeah, I've done some pretty extensive research. A lot of it came from Mark Will Weber, author of Mint Juleps with Teddy Roosevelt, and some other sources that I pulled from some historical documents. Jeremy Kudrick asked, what would you want to drink with Obama? What do you do with Obama?
Oh.
Well, Obama actually is a fairly eclectic drinker. He's known to make a honey ale out of honey that comes from the bees from the White House beekeeping. So that's what he's really known for is honey ale. He also likes vodka martinis. And when he went to his ancestral pub in Ireland, he ordered a Guinness, and he actually knew to let it set for a while. He actually killed the whole pint, as they like to say in Ireland. So he's a fairly eclectic drinker, but he's a fairly seasoned drinker. So Obama's going to be a beer. I'm going to see if I can locate a honey ale. If not, it'll be a Guinness. That'll be the Obama birthday, which actually Obama's birthday is on August 4th. So we got a little time for that yet.
So which are the next ones coming up? You've had 3 of them pop up on there on Revolutionary Wrestling Podcasts. I think somebody asked for the link. I'll post it in the comment section here in just a second. But who's up after that? Because we only had a couple so far. So
we knocked out. We got Jackson, we got Madison and Cleveland. Those are all down. We got President John Tyler on the 29th of this month. He loved champagne. So that one will be a fun little... I got just another bottle of Francois Mondant, and we'll just do that. Jefferson on the 13th was... I wanted to see if I could find a bottle of Bordeaux wine, but I'm probably not going to do as much traveling as I did. So I'm going to just substitute that with a bottle of my favorite red wine, Schlinkhaus Dornfelder, which is pretty close. He was an opponent to the very idea of whiskey in America. He wanted to bring a French wine culture to America, and he said there is no drunkenness in a nation where wine is cheap. And he wanted to eradicate the scourge of whiskey. So he was an interesting individual. On the 23rd of April, James Buchanan. He loves sherry. So I got a bottle of Olosoro sherry, and we're going to give that a shot. Grant, on the 27th of April. Oh, no.
God. Run away, everybody. No. Tune in. No. Subscribe. I don't know what to do.
Yes, subscribe. He is also a drinker of champagne. He was known... he had no real talent for drinking. He just could not hold his liquor well. One glass of whiskey and it would show on his face immediately. So he was generally a champagne drinker. His wife would try to keep him to just one champagne a night. And he would sometimes go weeks without drinking because he knew he was not very good at it.
Wow.
Monroe, he was a good friend of Thomas Jefferson. He loved Burgundy wine from the southern area of France, while Bordeaux is a little farther north. Him and Thomas Jefferson would often exchange letters about, you're sending a ship back from France to get you wine. While it's coming back, can you get me this, or should I get that? And they would just chat about wine because it was something they enjoyed doing. And so that was kind of interesting on the 29th of April. So that'll be one that Monroe, the doctrine is in. In May, this will be one you'll like. Truman, bourbon. He fucking loves bourbon. He would have 2 or 3 shots of bourbon every morning. Then he'd do a walk, get a rub down, and he'd be ready for the day.
That's my kind of day.
And this is actually kind of a funny story. He did not like Joe Kennedy, Ted Kennedy's dad. A lot of people say that Joe Kennedy was a liquor runner. That's not really quite true. What he did was, when he knew Prohibition was coming to an end, he made contracts with Johnny Walker and all the major Scotch companies. So he had these warehouses full of Scotch ready to hit the market the minute Prohibition ended. And President Truman was famously, he was on a train with some reporters. And they asked him, President Truman, would you like to have a Scotch with us? He said, no, not really. Oh, okay. Would you like to have a bourbon? Yeah, I'll have a bourbon with you. And so he sits down and he has the bourbon. And they ask him, why won't you have a Scotch with us? And he goes, well, every time you have a Scotch, you put a quarter in Joe Kennedy's pocket. And so, yeah, he did not. He was, now, Grant, God bless him, American president, going to drink an American-made spirit. So I've got my finest bourbon that I'm setting aside for that particular date for President Truman. And then Trump, God, I was going to try and get a bottle of Trump wine, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. With everything that's going on, I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Wait, where did they make Trump wine again? I can't remember what you said. Virginia?
Yeah.
Nice.
So his son, Eric Trump, has a vineyard in Virginia. Say that 3 times fast. And I've only had the chance to try one Virginia wine, and I was very pleased with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. And then Kennedy, President Kennedy, ask not what your Bloody Mary can do for you, but ask what you can do for your Bloody Mary. He loved him a Bloody Mary, and that'll be on the 29th of May. So these are all things coming down the pike. Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, Dog and Chicken Show, and the newly arriving and soon to be risen like the Phoenix KOE Nation page.
Awesome. Sounds good. I look forward to some of your stuff. I'll be happy to help you out with some of that. Get you rolling on some of those. Got a ticker going across the bottom. If you would like to join the show or be a part of the show in any way, or just want to support us, got Big Buckin'. It's facebook.com/Big Buckin'. Go check us out there. View our prior episodes also on YouTube. If you look up Dog and Chicken Show on YouTube, you can find us there, quick and easy. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Phil, you wanna send them home in the fashion you always do?
I will do. Brett, Jeremy, grow the farm up. Thank you all for being in here tonight, and all of our watchers, subscribers, and everybody in every medium. I am devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner, Chicken. Take it away, sir.
Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, like I said, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Looks like Wednesday. We'll have our next live stream Wednesday night. Be prepared. I'll put out a reminder out there for all of our subscribers. But if you're not subscribed, you're not going to get it. So make sure you do that part of it, right? Live show Wednesday night, probably 8 p.m., 9 p.m. We'll have that posted here shortly after we finish up here in the next day or so, getting this posted and all the edits done. And me fight with YouTube on whatever copyright claims they get against me. But until next time, I appreciate everybody. Like I said, a lot of American flags behind us, but thank you all. Appreciate you. Love you. Bye.